Hi everyone, it's Margaret with Creative Stamping with Margaret. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'm sharing with you one of the cards from this month's card class. That's the April 2023 card class. Each month we make 4 cards that either feature a particular bundle or some other product. It may be in colors or something like that, but I try to keep things focused on one particular bundle or product each month. This month we're featuring the Sweet Citrus Bundle, and I just love this stamp set. When it first came out, I thought, oh, what am I going to do with this? But I've had so much fun creating a variety of cards. So I hope that you find this as much fun as I have. But this Sweet Citrus Bundle, it is in the mini catalog. It will be carrying over to the annual catalog, but it will not be at the bundled savings price in the annual catalog starting May 2nd. So if you want to save 10% and you want to order this Sweet Citrus Bundle, I encourage you to do so between now and May 1st of 2023, because the price will go up by 10% on May 2nd. But on to the card. Don't you just love the bright colors of this card? The Parakeet Party and Shaded Spruce go together perfectly. They go together just so well. And what we're using, our sentiment is the Have a Zesty Birthday. So I thought it was perfect with the limes. Of course, lemons, you have a zesty birthday with lemons as well. So let's dive in. Let me tell you what materials you're going to be needing for this. Of course, you're going to need the Sweet Citrus stamp set. And from the stamp set, you're going to need the rinds for the fruit. You're also going to need the fruit centers, as well as the stamp Have a Zesty Birthday. And then for the dies, the only die that you're going to need from the hybrid set, you're only going to need the embossing folder. We do not need the die piece that goes in there for this particular card. But the other die that you will need, if you'll notice on our sample, is one of the deckled rectangle, and this is one of the larger ones. And you'll also need a little sponge dauber. You'll need your paper snips, and you will need the Parakeet Party metallic woven ribbon. And the 2 ink colors we're using, as I mentioned earlier, are Parakeet Party and Shaded Spruce. Let me pull these things to the side. So our card base is the Parakeet Party, and then I'm using for the background panel a piece of the Designer Series paper, and this is from the Hostess Designer Series paper, Flowers and More, in that mini catalog. But don't worry, you could change this out with just use plain cardstock as a layering piece, or look through other Designer Series papers that become available that may have Parakeet Party or Shaded Spruce in there. But Shaded Spruce cardstock would also make a great background for this. Then you're going to need your panel for your interior of your card, and then a panel for the front. And you'll also need a white strip, a 1/2 inch wide white strip for your sentiment. So let's go ahead and pull in our ink, and let's go ahead and stamp. And I like to stamp the rind first, and we have our rind is stamped with the shaded spruce, and I like to take on a large stamp like this, I like to take my pad to the stamp versus the stamp to the pad. I just feel that I get better coverage if I do that. And then you're going to want to try to place this about midway in the card, because remember, we are going to cut this with the deckled rectangle, so you don't want to push it too far up on there. You want to leave a little bit of room. And I'll bring the card back in so you can look at that again and see how we've done that. And I'm going to go ahead on our strip and but stamp our Have a Zesty Birthday while that's open. Next, we want to pull in the centers of our fruit, and we are coloring the citrus. For the lime, we're coloring it with our Parakeet Party. Move this out of the way. Now we're going to pull in our embossing folder, and I'm just going to lay that down, sort of line it up and close it, and then there again, look at where the fruit is on that embossing folder and line it up using the centers. See how I use the centers of the fruit? Make sure they're in place. I can push this one up at the top a little bit more. I'm just going to inch that one over to get that whole line in there a little bit better. There, we have that. Now to bring up our cut and emboss machine. And since we're using the embossing folder, you only need to use your base plate 1 and then use the gray number 4 just to run those through there. And look how that has embossed that fruit, doesn't that? That is just, it's even more beautiful in person than what you see there. Now I'm going to pull the other panels up because we're going to take and cut with the deckled frame. So I'm putting my plates, getting my cutting plate set up. And so I have, now we'll place the deckled frame. So we can move all of this out of the way. Now to just assemble. So fold your card base, the Parakeet Party card base, along the score line. So we've scored that 5.5 by 8.5 inch paper. We've scored that at 4 1/4 to give us our card base. And just recall that in the description of this video you will find the dimensions and the materials that I have used for this card. So you don't need to worry about writing any of that down. And then because this is heavily embossed, that embossing folder really, and with the fruit, there's a lot of texture in that. I like to use the liquid glue, multi-purpose liquid glue, just so that it tends to adhere a little bit better. Now the next step is to take your paper snips, and we're just going to snip the end, make a little bit of a banner, a pennant, or a flag in. And then just to make that pop a little bit more, I'm taking a sponge dauber, and I'm taking the Parakeet Party ink, and I'm just going to lightly sponge along the edges of our little, around our sentiment. And then to put this on the card, I am using our Stampin' Dimensionals, and I put 3 on there. That seems to be a good number for this size of sentiment. And then you're going to take this metallic woven ribbon, cut 2 pieces roughly 5-6 inches long, hold them together to tie your bow and have a double bow. And then where are my little, oh, here they are right in front of me, mini glue dots. So we're going to add this to right around that sentiment with the mini glue dot. Trim that just a touch more. And there we have our Zesty birthday sweet citrus card. So we've made limes using that sweet citrus bundle. For the envelope, all I did was mask around. I took a scrap piece of paper. Let me find a piece here. I'm going to take this little piece and cut it. Usually I use Post-it notes, but I could not find them. So what I've done is I took and I just mask off. Then I took the stamp and I just inked the one piece that I wanted. And for this, I decided to use the half of the fruit. Now you could just use a slice. You could use the whole slice or just a half slice. But this is why you want to mask off, so that you don't get the ink from that got onto the other pieces on your card. And it is much easier if you're using Post-it notes, because you can get those around a little bit more. And I actually cut that off from that panel, but let's see if I can fix that back. That's okay. It's the envelope, right? But you see how I did that by masking off, and then I just take the fruit center Oh, and I had ink down there. I didn't mask that. That's okay. You get the idea. The best thing is to have Post-its where you take a Post-it note and you put it around, and that will mask that off for you. But so you can do your fruit. On the inside, I did the same thing. I masked off an area, stamped it, and then stamped a sentiment to go with the birthday. But I hope you've enjoyed this Have a Zesty birthday card and love the colors of it. And be sure to look for other videos featuring this sweet citrus stamp set from the April classes, April 2023 monthly card classes. Have a great rest of your day.